All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Alan Houston, the host here for Two Chairs, No Waiting. There are folks in our chat room. For some reason, my recorder went off. It probably just timed out right before I hit the button. Everything looks all right to me. All right, guys. Hey, for everybody that's on the video version of the show, I'd like to make sure you guys are hearing okay. Because the last several weeks when I've been recording, it seems like the video version was really low. So I'm trying to push up the audio a little bit out to you. I don't know if that's working. We'll find out at the end of the show. But I definitely wanted to try it. I don't like that song. It makes you cry. Isn't that terrible? So you folks in the chat room can let me know whether or not it was too loud, too quiet, or if it was about right. Because I did try to turn it up just a little bit. Thank you, Paul. Audio is better. That's good. Yeah, it's been a little bit low the last few weeks, so I'm trying to figure out why. Rand and Dan, are you guys together? It's good to see you guys. The Milo boys are there. So let's see what else is going on here. All right. Fight it to Floyd. What's that mean, Emmett? All right, so Goober5 can hear me okay. That's good. Sounds fine. All right, so maybe it'll be a little bit better, a little bit more loud coming to you. You can turn it down a little if it's too loud, but hopefully the audio is better. All right, guys. Hey, for those of you that are new to the show, this is not the actual podcast. This is the pre-show for the podcast where I'm kind of talking to everybody and visiting and having a good time, just like you. I see all the folks in the chat room. I see 31 folks in there. Let's see who's there. I see Emmett Clark, the Milo boys, Rand and Dan. They're here. Let's see. Did they say they're together? I guess they're together since they're in the same room. Miss Mayberry, Sarah Blaine, Matt Copeland, Clanton. Hey, it's good to see you, Clanton. JPJ is here. Indiana Steve. Lydia Crosswaith. Van Pastorman. I like that. Oh, that's a good name. Wouldn't you know, Don? Yeah, he's here. JL327, Goober5, Kentucky Mike, Carp Gigger, Susan, Paul Williams, Carolina Cody, Roger, Chris, that's Gome from the movie, Mayberry Man movie. Chris, good to have you with us. Miss Mayberry, Sarah Blaine. Did I already do her? Yeah, she's in here twice. Kathy Hinckley, Memphis Mike, and Asa. Dennis Blaine is in here with us as well. Plus about 7 anonymous folks. Good to have all of you here. If you'd like to be a part of the chat room you're seeing here over to my right over that way, you can head over to live.twochairsnowaiting.com, and you can be a part of the fun these guys are having as they visit and talk. So Asa is back, and hopefully he'll be awake tonight. He fell asleep a couple of weeks ago and missed the whole podcast. So since then, I think he's been working on his staying awake while he's on duty. So let's see here. What else is going on in the chat room? All right, so we have some fun stuff. So you guys that are here live, you're going to get an advantage if you haven't already seen it. But Weavers has got some stuff that you guys may want to check out. Plus, it's going to be for a good cause. So it's all really good. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what happened 75 years ago today in Mayberry. I feel quiet for myself there. I'm turning my volume up for me. So 75 years ago today in Mayberry, what actually happened. We're going to talk about that. We're going to hear from Randy Turner. He's back with a brand new This Week in Mayberry History. And I guess we'll do a little bit of trivia as well if we have a chance, because we got a lot going on tonight. We'll see. All right. So for you guys that are in the live room, I'll go ahead and tell you real quick over on Weavers. Let me pull this over there. So if you head over to Weavers, there is a Maggie Peterson collection section right now. So there's a bunch of items over there. If you go check it out, a bunch of photos, autographed photos, things like that Maggie had in her own collection that Weavers is selling to help raise money for Maggie. So if you'd like to get a signed photo, You can get a photo from Maggie. There's some scripts in there, but some of them are already sold out. And some of them, the scripts are not Andy Griffith Show scripts themselves. There are things that Maggie worked on maybe as a location scout or something like that. There's a few scripts. There's other pictures in here as well. So just go and check out the things there. There's a t-shirt. There's a t-shirt of Maggie and Andy. And all the proceeds will go to Maggie herself. So I'm not going to scroll through all these. But there's a lot of pictures. I got to fix this again. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff over there at Weavers for you to go and check out. So it's definitely something you might want to check out, because all the money raised, other than any credit card fees and shipping, will go directly to Maggie. Okay, so that's something you guys may be interested in, because you're not only getting a neat Mayberry memorabilia item, but you're also helping out Charlene herself, Maggie Peterson. So we'll talk about that a little bit during the podcast as well. I'm going to encourage people to do that. And yeah, that's where we are. So, all right, let's see what else is going on. Anything else happening in the Mayberry community here? Again, if you'd like to be a part of the podcast or part of the podcast chat room that you're seeing here, that's at live.2chairsnowaiting. If you're over on Facebook or on YouTube watching the video, you can head over this way and get a part of this chat room. There are chats going on Facebook and on YouTube, but I can't really look at those during the podcast. There's just too many places. I can't be all those places. I can't even read this chat room. I read it right here while we're starting, but after that, there is no way I can keep up with the conversation and read and talk and everything else at the same time. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. All right, guys. I think we'll get things going, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Let me check the music. And it's playing, so I think we're okay. All right, guys. I'll see you guys on the other side of all this, and we will talk to you in just a few minutes. All right. Hopefully I'm not putting out too much audio, because it looks like it's spiking out there. So I'm a little worried. I'm overdriving the video audio at this point. So I'm a little worried. I guess it's better than being quiet. All right, so let's get this thing rolling, guys. I'm going to cover you guys up. There you go. Me they are. All right. All right, guys, here we go. A 1 and a 2 and away we go. Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 645, 75 years of punched noses. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the fine folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Drop by over at Weavers and check out a special section we have over there right now, the Maggie Peterson collection. That's right, Maggie Peterson, Charlene herself. We have photographs from her and other items that are signed by her, and we're all being used to just raise money to help Maggie out. We'll talk about that a little later in the show. While you're over there, you might want to check out some of the Weavers shirts, Weavers hats. Head over to weaversdepartmentstore.com and check it out. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners like you and me, fans of the Andy Griffith Show. These folks are the executive producers are Randy and Jennifer Vinson. They're the executive producers for episode number 645. Thank you, guys, and thank you for being here with me as well. It is always great to spend time in Mayberry, no matter how you do it. But every week we get an opportunity here on the podcast to spend time talking about the Andy Griffith Show and visiting with one another, and just hopefully everybody having a good time. At least that's the goal. That's the hope. So this week we're going to be talking about, like I said, 75 years of punched noses. And I'll tell you about that a little bit more as we go. I'm also going to talk a little bit more about Maggie and explain to you what her collection is for, and encourage you to go out there and purchase those items. And then we're going to hear from Randy Turner. with This Week in Mayberry History. We'll throw in some trivia in there if we have an opportunity. This is going to possibly be a long one. It depends on how much I talk. So let's get started. Let's get started here. So 75 years ago, that's right, on August the 9th, 1945, that is a day that shall always live in infamy in Mayberry. That's right. It was on that day back in 1945, August the 9th, which as I record this, that is what day it is, 75 years ago. That was 75 years ago is when the case of the punch in the nose actually occurred. That's right. When Foley was punched in the nose by Floyd. Can't you just see it? It's just a little boop, according to Charlie. At least at the beginning of that episode, that was his thinking. But as the episode went along, he was not quite so generous with his thoughts. So this was actually pointed out this morning. I saw it, and I'll give credit where credit's due to Keith Brown. He was the first one I saw post about it. According to season 5, episode number 25, The Case of the Punch in the Nose, we were all let in on details of a very cold case that Barney felt obligated to officially disperse of, causing chaos along the way, which it allegedly took place. Did I say 45? It's 46. August 9th, 1946 is when it actually happened. Yeah, 45. It was 75 years ago. It was 1946. So 75 years ago. And I keep saying 5, but it's 46, 75 years ago. It took place on this here day, right here as we speak about it. So I wanted to tell you a little bit. There's a book that you can get at Weaver's. It's called the Definitive Andy Griffith Show Reference. It's a great book. And I just wanted to read you a few of the things that actually happened in that particular episode, because there's a lot of information. Now, you guys, the folks that are listening to this podcast, I'm pretty sure you guys all know these episodes. Of course, this is when Floyd actually punched Foley in the nose. We never saw him, but we assume he did. It occurred at 11:25 a.m. on August 9th, 1946. The two people involved were Floyd Lawson, Mayberry's then new barber. He was brand new, and grocer Charlie Foley. Andy tells Barney to forget all about it, but the ever-efficient deputy insists on talking to the principals involved. Floyd doesn't remember the details, but Charlie tells Floyd that he had asked Floyd for a haircut and then fallen asleep in the chair, like he always does. And when he awoke, he discovered that Floyd had also given him a shave. When Floyd called Charlie a cheapskate for refusing to pay for the shave, Charlie turned around and called Floyd a crook. One thing led to another until at last the mild-mannered Floyd Lawson punched Charlie Foley right in the nose. Right in the nose. When Floyd hears Charlie's recollections, though, he wholeheartedly disagrees. In an argument, he said, wait a minute. And Charlie said, if Charlie told you that, it's an out-and-out fib. It's not fib. What's the word he uses? Anyway, that's basically what he said. So basically, Barney ends up reenacting the crime with the actual people that were involved that day, including Goober, who was a mere lad, 5 years old when the original punch actually occurred. As Barney tries to piece together the puzzle, Floyd gets mad and punches Foley again in the nose. And of course, nobody saw it, right? Before you know it, everybody in Mayberry is arguing over the case and fighting with one another. So here's, in chronological order, here's what actually happened. So this is a good one, right? So this is what happened. Charlie Foley punches Goober in the nose, right? Otis Campbell punches Floyd in the nose because Otis, he's a distant relative of Foley. Yeah, so he is. So then Goober punches Gilly Walker in the nose. Opie's best friend, Johnny Ball, who is Charlie Foley's nephew, by the way, punches Opie in the nose. Lamar Tuttle, Floyd's cousin, he punches Otis in the nose. And finally, a lady named Betty Ann telephones Andy and claims that an unnamed assailant punched her in the nose. And by this time, Andy has had enough. He severely scolds Barney for being the instigator of all this mayhem and decides to bring in Floyd and Charlie together to solve the dilemma. First of all, Andy reminds Charlie and Floyd that they've been close friends for nearly 20 years. And next, he has the two men shake hands. That's right. So Floyd and Charlie are suddenly reminded that in 1946, Sheriff Poindexter solved the original dispute in much the same manner. Both men realizes how foolish that they have been, and they make up. When Barney starts to stir up the controversy again, the book says Floyd punched him in the nose. All we know is that he's gone to the barbershop, and Andy jumps up. Andy and Goober jump up, and they start running over to the barbershop, and you just see as they get outside the courthouse, here comes Barney holding his nose up in the air, holding on to it as he walks back into the courthouse. Oh, what a great scene. Oh, it's so good. All right, so here's some episode notes. Otis Campbell was first arrested for drinking at 2 p.m. on September the 23rd, 1941. He was nabbed at the Mayberry Garden Club flower show. Since it was his first arrest, the sentence was suspended. Barney states that Otis probably passed out on the poppies. Andy and Barney hum when they're singing the hymn, Sinners Lose All Their Guilty Stains. That happens on this episode. All old police documents in the Mayberry, or all in Mayberry, are boxed up and kept in the basement of the Mayberry firehouse. We find that out in this episode. Andy gets mad at Barney for bringing up an old case, and in a rare fit of anger, he yells, "Shut up," to his startled deputy. Also during this episode, Andy calls Barney a nut on 2 separate occasions. So, and it was definitely true. He's a nut. Oh, let's see here. Aunt Bee prepares a poultice for Charlie Foley's injured nose. You remember, I ate some of that. It won't hurt you. Oh, that's so funny. Let's see. Mayberryans Robert Bobby Gribble and Emma Larch announced their coming nuptials in the Mayberry Gazette. Had you to see it back in high school? Bobby dipping her pigtail in the ink. Oh, she'll get in with him now. Oh, yeah. So that was Bobby Gribble wrote, Bobby Gribble hates Emma Larch. And now they're announcing their coming nuptial. Ain't life funny? Oh, now even funnier is in future episodes, Aunt Bee will have an elderly friend named Emma Larch who is not married to Bobby Gribble. So there's a little trivia for you guys. Bobby Gribble used to date Andrew Beasley's girl. Yeah, that's right. In the episode, Floyd's Barbershop charges the following prices for, he charges $1.75 for haircuts. For flat tops, it's $2. A butch is $2. Shampoo is 75 cents. A shave is 50 cents. And Floyd charges $1 or charges $0.25 for using hair tonic. Okay, so there's a little bit of information about that episode. I just thought that was fun. There's a lot of cool stuff. Now, a lot of that information, and most of that was coming out of the book, the definitive Andy Griffith Show reference. You can pick up a copy over at Weaver's, and it's definitely a great reference book, a great book to look at. So, wow, can you believe it? 75 years. 75 years. And Andy finally sat down Foley and Charlie and got them to shake hands. Of course, Barney came back. Where's the paperwork? Where's the paperwork? It's as open as it ever was. All right, so that's the remembrance there of the case of a punch in the nose. Now, I should have told you that episode was it aired on the 15th of March, 1965. It's when that episode actually aired. It was written by Bill Edelson and Sam Brobrick and directed by Corby Ruskins. Now, you can find out all these kind of information if you go to mayberry.info. There's a wiki there, the Mayberry Historical Society, and it has all kinds of information on there, and including some odd facts known by a few related to that episode. It says when Barney drives up in the squad car with a siren on, he drives in front of the barbershop, and it appears that Howard McNeil's stand-in is there rather than the actor himself. Have to check that out. So when Goober said he was 5 years old, I was just 5 years old. He said that on this particular episode when the punch happened. That was 19 years before the episode. So that would mean he was 24 years old. But in Goober the Executive, he said he was 36, and that was only 2 years later. So there's some time discrepancies there on the show. So that kind of stuff is fun for me. I hope it's fun for you. But you can head over and find some of that information if you'd like to at mayberry.info. There's episode guides, characters list. There's Mayberry facts, FAQs. There's some trivia there. There's all kinds of fun stuff there. All right. So I wanted to tell you about Maggie Peterson. So Maggie has got a collection over at Weavers. Talked about that just a few minutes ago here. And she's, we know who she is. She's known as Charlene Darling and loved there. So Weavers is teaming up with Maggie and her family to bring you photographs and other items from her career. And we hope that you'll find these treasured items that bring the same joy to you that they've brought to Maggie over the years. Maggie wants to share the collection rather than leaving it in a trunk. She's not able to perform in person, so this is a way that you can stay connected with her. She's currently residing in an assisted living facility, and since moving there, she's required additional care because of some chronic health conditions, limited mobility, some restricted use of her arms, and these conditions have made it impossible for her to live independently. So the level of care, it increases the cost for Maggie. So as a fan who loves Maggie and has always considered her a star, like we all do, you might wonder about residuals from the Andy Griffith Show. Well, there weren't any, basically. The Andy Griffith Show ended in the late 60s, and that was before residuals became what they are now. They were paid only for the first showing and then 3 re-airings of the episode. So basically that's it. All these years, all these many years, she has not received any residuals for more than 50 years. So please look through her collection. Head over to weaversdepartmentstore.com, and there's a link right at the top of the page over in the left-hand side. Or if you're on a phone, you click on categories and you'll see it right there. And you can go down to Maggie's and look at all her collection. She's got lots of pictures. A lot of the pictures that are in here, there's only one of, and some there's multiples, but there's only one of several of them. And once they're gone, they'll be gone. There's no more. Definitely great looking photos. I love them. Definitely something I think you would treasure. They're autographed. There are very few that are not. Some are autographed on the back of the photo and some are on the front, but it's clearly described in the description of the photo. So she may have signed it on the back of the photo because it was a nice looking picture and she didn't want to sign it on the front. There's also some scripts from the Andy Griffith Show. Not from the Andy Griffith Show. Sorry. They're not from the Andy Griffith Show. There are scripts from Maggie, but they're not from the Andy Griffith Show. They're scripts from movies that she was involved in as a location scout, a location coordinator, as she was involved in those. So there's some scripts like that. If you like them, they're all signed. They're autographed. They're autographed by her, but and it clearly will tell you if they are or they not or not. So definitely check them out. Go over there and check it out. There's a t-shirt on there that's Maggie and Andy hugging. That was something that she sold or received or something. Not sure where they came from exactly, but she had them, and they're all XLs. There are no other sizes. So go and check it out. Head over and check that out, and you'll be doing her a big favor. Plus, you'll be able to support her as you do it, and you get some fun for it. And if you don't want to do that, or if you want to do additional in some way, don't forget that she has a GoFundMe campaign where you can go and donate toward her, toward helping her out, because she could use it, and that would make you feel good too, right? And there's a link at Weavers. If you look in that, there's a link there for the GoFundMe page, and you'll be able to get there. Plus, there's a link at the show notes for this episode of the podcast. And every episode this year, 2021, there has been a link. So go and check that out. And be sure and tell Maggie, hey, if you get an opportunity. So this is great. So if you'd like to send cards or anything like that to Maggie to wish her well, feel free to mail them to Weavers Department Store. And if you go to the Weavers Department Store website and go down to the bottom of the website, the people that are on the video, they'll be able to see it. Down toward the bottom where you see like that we accept credit cards and things like that, there is the mailing address is right there on the site, and you can send a card or whatever to that address, and we will make sure it gets to Maggie. Okay. So if you'd like to do that, we'll make sure. All right. So that's, I think that's it for that. So let me see here. I think we got a time for just a few trivia questions, if everybody is ready for that. So we'll do a few, and let me get us some trivia music, because we need the trivia music to do this. There we go. Everybody ready? Get your pencils. Well, let's play some Mayberry trivia. All right. I think I did that last week. Let me get another one. All right. Mayor Stoner. This is a true or false question. Mayor Stoner got drunk in the courthouse. Mayor Stoner got drunk in the courthouse. All right. The answer, this is true or false. It's just true or false. You got a 50-50 chance on this one. The answer is true. The answer is true. Mayor Stoner got, someone needs to clean this crock. All right. The question number 2. Who spiked the jailhouse water? Who spiked the water in the jailhouse cooler? Who spiked it? Okay. Who spiked the jail water cooler? The jail water cooler. If I read that better, it sounds better. Who spiked the water? Somebody needs to clean that crock. That's all I know. All right. The answer is it was Otis. Oh, you should have been able to guess that one too. All right. So here's a third question, all related. So if you didn't know those first two, you're going to have a hard time probably. What happened to Mayor Stoner when the governor came? Could I made that one easier? What happened to Mayor Stoner when the governor came? What happened to Mayor Stoner when the governor came? Oh, bless his heart. All right. So what happened to Mayor Stoner when the governor came? The answer is he got drunk. He got smashed. Drunk. That's right. All right. So he got drunk. Okay. Next question. This is going to be a true or false. Are you ready? True or false? This is number 4. Oh, come on. Here we go. True or false? Floyd wore glasses. Come on. Is this even a trivia question? True or false? Floyd wore glasses. Floyd wore glasses, or he didn't. That's not even a... If you can't get this, please go back to episode 1 of this podcast and start over. The answer is true. Of course, yes, he wore glasses. Floyd wore glasses. Of course he did. All right. That was a hard one. All right. Number 5. How many windows were there in the courthouse, excluding the ones in the jail cells? Okay. How many windows were there in the courthouse, excluding the ones in each cell? Oh, this is a math problem. How many windows were there in the courthouse, excluding the ones in each cell? This one takes a little thinking. Folks in the chat room are already getting it right. The answer is there were 3. Okay, so there were 3. Thinking about it. So there was one on each side of the main doors when you came in, right? There was one on each side, Plus, there was one on the side wall, kind of behind Andy's desk, just to the left of Andy's desk, right? So there were three. Good job, guys, for getting that one. All right, our final question. What was this? This would be number 6. What were Goober's 2 known last names? What were the 2 last names that were given for Goober, given for Goober during the Andy Griffith Show? What were Goober's 2 known last names? Okay, this is a little harder. Got to get them both. What were Goober's 2 known last names? The answer, obviously, Pyle. That's easy, Goober Pyle, because he's Gomer's cousin. But the other one was Goober Beasley. So Pyle and Beasley, or Beasley and Pyle, either direction, you got them both. You're in good shape. All right, guys, that's 6 questions. 6 questions. How did you do? That's the real questions. How did you do? Did you do good or did you not? Hopefully those were fun. And if you missed the one about Floyd's glasses, I am extremely disappointed, and you need to watch the podcast because I wear glasses. All right, guys. And now we are back in a treat. Randy Turner, we've been playing reruns of his This Week in Mayberry History for a couple of weeks, and we have got a special one tonight. So Randy's back, and so let's go and hear some of his wonderful information.
Welcome to This Week in Mayberry History, a report by special correspondent Randy Turner of the Gomer and Goober Pyle Comic Book Literary Guild of the Mayberry Historical Society.
Some of you know that I started a club for Andy Griffith Show fans called the Andy Griffith Show Ambassadors Program. Members in good standing receive a small format magazine filled with Mayberry items of interest. A couple of issues ago, there was an article that I want to share information from to at least put out into the world one more piece of correct material about a vexing mistake. In the first season episode, A Feud is a Feud, and a take on the story of Romeo and Juliet, 2 young people want to marry, but are unable to do so as their families have been involved in a feud for decades. In that episode, the attractive Hannah Carter is credited as being played by Tammy Windsor. If one looks for information about the actress, more often than not, one will find articles that state Tammy Windsor was the stage name of Karen Kupcinet. Tragically, the beautiful young woman was murdered on Thanksgiving Day in 1963, shortly after President Kennedy was assassinated, which has fueled the inevitable conspiracy theories about Karen's death. When I first looked into this a few years ago, it was already clear there was an active internet dispute about whether Tammy Windsor was actually Karen Kupcinet. Certainly, the vast majority of sources indicated it was in fact the same actress using a stage name. At some point, an author who was writing a book about Karen, along with Karen's niece, both said that the Internet Movie Database and other sources are incorrect, and that Tammy Windsor was not the stage name of Karen, but of a different person. Unfortunately, it was hard to accept any of those statements as authoritative if one looked more closely into their claims. The niece of Karen, who was participating in the book, had never actually met her aunt. Add to that the planned book had a supernatural element to it, including claims that the niece had dreams with scenes seemingly from Karen's life rather than her own. So the misinformation continued. Enter a Mayberry fan and Mayberry in the Midwest trivia champion, Janet Anderson. Janet wrote a wonderful article for the spring 2021 issue of the Andy Griffith Show Ambassadors magazine about what she was able to, finally, authoritatively determine about this confusing issue. Part of the controversy about whether the actress Tammy Windsor was the same person as Karen Kupcinet had been actively discussed on the Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board chapter of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club back in 2008. The photos of Karen look somewhat like Tammy Windsor in A Feud is a Feud, but Janet noted some differences that made her doubt they were really the same person. Janet investigated and eventually wrote and connected with the author mentioned earlier who was working with Karen's niece on the book. As noted, he indicated Karen did not use the stage name Tammy Windsor and that the actress seen in the Andy Griffith Show was a different person. The question then was whether to believe it, considering the supernatural aspects noted earlier, and even if one could get past that, then who was the actress in A Feud is a Feud? Thankfully, Janet was able to get to the bottom of it. As it turned out, the actress who played Hannah Carter is named Sandra DeBear, and Sandra is very much alive. She used the stage name Tammy Windsor early in her career, including in her appearance in The Andy Griffith Show, which she believed was her first TV role. Sandra did not act extensively before joining and touring with a musical comedy group. She later did some commercials and nightclub work and then became a casting director. Sandra only became aware of the internet misinformation when her neighbors looked up her acting career and discovered that sources consistently stated that Tammy Windsor was the stage name of the murdered Karen Kupcinet. When someone later brought Janet's posts about the matter in the Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board chat room to Sandra's attention, Sandra was able to email Janet directly. She and Janet corresponded several times, eventually leading to Janet writing the aforementioned article. As a coda to the story, Jackie Joseph, who played Ernest T. Bass's Sweet Romina, had also worked with Sandra, also known as Tammy Windsor, on the low-budget Roger Corman film Little Shop of Horrors. Understandably, Jackie only knew the actress as Tammy, but recalls knowing that she eventually went on to become a casting director for TV commercials, which is pretty hard to do if one has been murdered at a young age. As Paul Harvey used to say, now we know the rest of the story. Thanks to Mayberry fan Janet Anderson. That's it for this week. As always, thanks for listening. And remember to take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and take Andy's advice, and go out there and act like somebody.
Wow, great information from Randy Turner and Janet Anderson. If you want to make sure you don't miss out on any of the great stuff that Randy digs up, head over to turnersgrade@gmail.com and email him, and he'll make sure you don't miss anything. turnersgrade@gmail.com. Janet, great job on doing that. I remember reading all that stuff back in the digest years ago. There's an archive version of the all the information that she found, and I'll put a link in our show notes and you can go read it. When you go and look at the link I post, it doesn't list them alphabetically. It doesn't list them in time order. So you have to kind of look through them to make sure. Yeah, Janet, what did I say?
You spelled it wrong.
Oh, so it's, she's saying I spelled it wrong in the chat room. Well, nobody in the podcast can see that. So my wife's interrupted. Anyway, so she's got her stuff on the thing, on the digest there, and you can put it in the right order. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the co-host staff here. So she's complaining because I spelled Janet wrong, and I spelled it in the chat room wrong. So yeah, it's because Jan's name is Janet, and I can't spell it right. That's why I call her Jan. Anyway, so go and check that out because it's great stuff that Janet did. She did a great job coming up with this information and running this all down, and it really is amazing that she was able to pull all that off. And it was a great bit of a detective work, and she is most certainly a trained noticer. And so she gets a trained noticer badge that she can wear proudly. So, but again, Randy, thanks for bringing that up. And folks, I hope you have enjoyed the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed just being here and spending some time in Mayberry. And I really hope that you'll consider heading over to Weavers and check out the stuff that Maggie's got there. All the proceeds from that will go to Maggie. So Weavers is not taking anything except whatever credit card fees there are. We'll take that out, and everything else will go to Maggie. So you'll be completely supporting her. All right. So I would love to hear from you. What'd you think about the podcast? Did you enjoy it? What about Randy's report and Janet's detective work? Man, it's like Sherlock Holmes is right here among us. So I'd love to hear from you. You can give me a call at 888-684-8415. You can email me at floyd@imayberry.com. Or you can just drop by twochairsnowaiting.com and tell us what you think. Let us know. So I would love to hear from you, and we'll be right here in Mayberry in the coming weeks. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up. The Mayberry Effect is about to be released the end of August of 2021. And then the Mayberry Man movie right after that. Folks, it's a big fall coming up for Mayberry, and we'll see y'all then. Good night, everybody. All right, we're clear. Oops, it didn't pause. Stop. There we go. So we're clear. The video's clear. We're good. All right, chat room. Great job. Hope everything enjoyed that. Yeah, it was fake news. That's right. Fake news. And Janet decoded it. Yeah, I didn't spell Janet right. Janet. Yeah, you got it. That's what Jan was complaining about and interrupted me during the podcast while I'm recording a live show. So it went good. That was fun. I thought that was pretty amazing what she figured out, and I'd kind of forgotten about it because it was back in a long time ago. 14, I think, is when she some of the final stuff. Let's see, 2014. So if you go and check that out over at the site there's a lot of information. You can click on all those different links, and you'll be able to determine. You'll be able to see everything that she was talking about. It's really fun. She did a great job. What?
Excuse me.
Well, you can't interrupt during the live part of the show and tell me I spelled something wrong that nobody on the show could see. That's a chance. She usually interrupts me because the video stopped or the audio, everything stopped and you guys can't hear me. So I was thrown off that she's coming over and telling me, like Janet. It was like, did I say her name wrong? It's what it because if you'll notice, Randy did at one point say her name wrong. Randy, I think he called her something. I don't think he said Janet, or if he did, it sounded like something else. But it was good. It was a great job. Great job. Great to have Randy back with that report. So folks, in the coming weeks, we're going to have the Mayberry Man movie is going to be coming out here in just a few weeks. So I'm going to be out of touch a lot. So I need to talk to Randy because we're going to have to he'll have to do stories early or I'll have to use reruns for those as well. I'll tell you what I ought to do. I ought to do a whole episode of just Randy Turner's This Week in Mayberry History. Just a whole week of Randy's reports. They're about, you could do 5 or 6 and it would be the entire 5 episodes. 5 would do it, actually 4 or 5. So we could catch up. So I'm not saying I should do that. I'm just trying to think of ways that Randy won't have to get all eaten up because September, basically, most of September, I'm going to be out of touch. So I kind of don't want to take a month off, but maybe I can record things in between and then just be able to upload them. But we probably won't be able to do too much on live shows on Mondays. But we'll see. The plan is we're going to go out to California for the one on the 13th, which is a Monday. So Janet and I are going to fly out to California on that Saturday before that and stay until the other Saturday, the next week, and go and do hopefully a little bit of Mayberry stuff, head to Franklin Canyon, maybe be able to meet up with some of the people. I don't know if we'll be able to do that. I'm not planning on that, but I'm definitely trying to stay open to it. And one thing I do want to go that we're planning to do is go see the big big trees out there, in the sequoia trees, the Sequoia National Forest. We're going to try to go there and see them. So how about a podcast early? Yeah, we'll do them early, but I don't know if we'll do live ones. Now, what I might be able to do, even if I'm not able to do them live, I could set it up so that they appear, the live shows appear on YouTube on the Monday nights. I don't know. I'm going to have to look and see. I have to figure out what I can do, but I'm not sure that I can pull them off like that. Let's see. Yeah, you'll think you'll live without a podcast once in a while, Emmett. Thanks. I hope so, because I just hate to do that, because everybody gets used to being here on Monday nights, and I don't want to give folks, I don't want to get them out of the habit, because you guys might not ever come back. So that would be bad. Let's see. What else is going on in there? Just plug in a rerun. Yeah, I could do that. I could do like a rerun episodes. We could play the best of 2 Chairs No Waiting. That's a good idea. That sounds like less work too. That's what we need to do. You guys, if there are episodes that you think would be really good to do reruns of, let me know. One in particular I'm planning on doing here in the next week or so is not a rerun exactly, but I did an episode back in, I can't even remember now, a long time ago, where I talked about, is episode number 49, I think. It's episode 49, where I talked about the movie poster that was outside the movie theater in one of the Gomer Pyle episodes that starred Tina Andrews, and did some research and found more information, found out what the poster was. Well, I talked about all that, but I don't think I ever did it during a video version of the podcast. So I may go back and recover some of that information, because there's no video. There's only some images that people could see. It might be neat for people to be able to see that on video. Let's see. What else is going on? Floyd's greatest hits. There you go. It'd be like Floyd Kramer. Dun, 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 dun. You guys may or may not be old enough to remember that. I remember watching late night TV, and there would always be commercials for Floyd Kramer. He was, I think, a pianist, and they would play them to buy the CDs. Or back then, it was probably records. I can't even remember. So, let's see. What else is going on? Yes, is the premiere in Danville first. So the red carpet VIP showing is in Danville first. So the first one is in Danville, and only folks that were able to contribute to the movie at whatever level was required to be able to attend the VIP showing will be at that event. Then there's another one just like it in California. They'll be smaller. I think. I don't know how many people will be there. Hopefully Jackie will be there. I'll get to see her. Maybe some of the other folks from the show, maybe some of them will be able to come. I just don't know. But it'll be fun to go out there anyway, just to go out and have fun. And I know Rick Roberts is planning on going to that one. Let's see. And then the final one is the 22nd, I think, of September. I believe is the right date. That's the Wednesday of Mayberry Days is when it's going to be. So yes, the 22nd of September would be the final VIP showing. And then following that in October is when the actual movie will start being in theaters. So that's kind of exciting. That'll be fun. I wish I lived close enough to one of the theaters to go and be a part of that. That would be pretty fun. We're trying to get it on here in Huntsville and some other places. But we're not quite sure. I don't think that's happened yet. I don't know if all the information about doing it is not. So Carpet Kickers has any more new Mayberry Bible Study podcast. Well, the problem with the Mayberry Bible Study podcast is that when I started doing it, there were 16 public domain episodes of the Andy Griffith Show, and I was going to do all 16. Well, at some point during the time I was actually doing the podcast episodes for the Bible study, CBS recovered the rights to those 16 episodes. And so they're no longer in public domain. And so I can't do them legally. I can't do that. So, and it's kind of bad to do a Bible study podcast breaking copyright law. So something just don't seem right about that. That's one of the reasons I've never done any more. I have some more recorded. I have I think 2 or 3 more recorded, and I've just never released them because it's I can't figure out how to release them so that they would be legal, so I haven't done that because I don't think the episodes would be as good without listening to the audio of the episode first. But anyway, so the Danville is near. It's about 40 minutes, an hour west of Indianapolis. But again, only people that actually contributed to the movie will be able to see the movie in Danville. At least that's my understanding. So it won't be there. It won't be until October when it's actually released to the general public that anybody can go and see it. And DVDs will start being available sometime in that same time frame. I'm not sure exactly, but you'll be able to get DVDs as well. And remember, the Mayberry Effect documentary is releasing digitally. So if you buy, I don't know if you buy streaming or if you buy an actual digital copy of it, but you can do that starting August 31st. So that'll be coming out pretty soon too. So
yeah, they've already sent out the invitations to everybody.
Yeah, if you didn't get an invitation to come to one of the VIP showings for Mayberry Man, then you didn't contribute enough to be one of the people that gets to come to that.
They've already sent them out.
Yeah, they already sent out emails to everybody to get them to tell them which one they would be attending and to sign up to come. So if you didn't get one of those or haven't been contacted by the Mayberry Man producers, then you probably were not at the level that was required to get a VIP showing. Now, that doesn't mean you won't be getting your DVD. If you contributed enough to get the DVD, you'll be getting those sometime at the end of September, early October. Those will be going out. If you're at one of the events, you'll get yours. If you're at one of the VIP showings, they'll give you a DVD. But if you're, but if you're not able to attend, they'll get them to you in some way. Okay. All right. I think that's, did that get everything? Well, thank you, Carp Digger. I really appreciate that you like the Mayberry Bible Study. Those are fun. I enjoyed doing those. I've definitely enjoyed doing them, and I would like to do those others, and I may go ahead and release them because I recorded them, I think, before the copyright stuff changed, but I don't know. I'm just a little worried about getting in trouble. I don't want to mess up. So I may do them without the actual audio of the episode and just release it. I tried different formats and ways of doing that because, I'm not a pastor. I'm not I'm nothing like that. So I enjoy kind of leading a discussion and facilitating, but I really enjoy hearing what other people say and how it may have impacted them as well. So anyway, that's the Mayberry Bible Study. If you haven't heard it, you can go and check it out. If you go to twochairsnowaiting.com, it's right there. And I think it's mayberrybiblestudy.com too. I can't remember. It's either I can't remember. Let me type this in. I haven't typed that in a long time. Whoa. Mayberry, hold on. No, it's not Mayberry. Oh man, I need to grab that. Okay, I think it's the Mayberry Bible Study. No? Did somebody steal my Bible study domain? I'm gonna have to look at that because it's acting like I don't have that anymore. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that. All right, I thought it was Mayberry Bible Study. Anyway, if you go to Two Chairs No Waiting, it will take you there. So now I've got to figure out about my domain name. Am I paying for something that I can't even use? That's terrible. Let me look here. So yeah, if you're looking at the website, if you go to the website for Two Chairs No Waiting, there is a link to Mayberry Bible Study right there. And I sure did think that was the name of it. Anyway, that'll take you, and you can go and you can get it there. I really did think it was called Mayberry Bible Study. Huh. Anyway, it's not working, so I'm not sure. Or I'm putting in the wrong thing. Like I said, I hadn't done it in so long. Oh, it's Mayberry Bible Study Podcasts. That's one. That's what it is right there. Mayberry Bible Study Podcasts. That will take you to it. And it takes you right to the Bible study. There it is. Good. All right. So it is working, but Mayberry Bible Study is available. Maybe I need to try to grab that. So, all right, guys, I think that is all I have for this evening. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourself. Is there one that asked us to buy a book to go along? There was a Bible study that they wanted you to buy a book, and that one got shut down because they did not go through the licensing process. I mean, that was the problem. It was called Mayberry Bible Study, but it actually used the Andy Griffith Show stuff and didn't pay the Andy Griffith Show for it. The people who owned the rights, so they got in trouble. So that was not good. All right, guys, I am done. Let's get out of here. And it's great to see everybody. We had 30 some odd people in here. I'm not sure how many were here, but we had a good number. It's always great to see you guys. I would love to hear from you. You can give me a call at 888-684-8415. Let me hear what you got to think or what you're thinking. And we'll see you guys next week right here on Two Chairs. Have a great Mayberry week. And get out there and act like somebody. Good night, everybody.
I grew up just down the street. This you can believe. Every week on TV with Andy and Barney and Opie, there I'd be with Sweet Aunt Bee in Mayberry. There's old Goober getting punched in the nose by Floyd the barber, who he loves so. But best friends they'll always be in Mayberry. Mayberry's still my home, even though I've moved on. Where I was raised, still today, is why I'm so strong. We were proud of old Gomer when he became a Marine. Ernestine was surely crazy, the whole world will agree. Him and Otis got the 3rd degree in Mayberry. Mayberry's still my home, even though I've moved on. The way I was raised, still today, is why I'm so strong. They look out for one another, proudly wave a flag. Anytime you stop by, they'll always be the same. So when the sun comes up, my heart will be in Mayberry.
There's a place I love to visit each weekday on TV. A place where life is simple, good friends and family. They've never met a stranger there, no one's in a hurry. And when I think of heaven, Lord, I always think of Mayberry. If I never get to heaven, Lord, just let me go to Mayberry with Andy and Barney, Opie and Aunt B. If I never get to heaven, Lord, just let me go to Mayberry. 'Cause something about Mayberry seems like heaven to me. You know, Lord, I've often wondered how heaven's gonna be. Well, there'll be folks there like Goober, Thelma Lou, and Ernest T. Now, if guys like Otis Campbell don't make it up to glory, then, Lord, I might be better off to just go down to Mayberry. If I never get to heaven, Lord, just let me go to Mayberry with Andy and Barney, Opie and Aunt B. If I never get to heaven, Lord, just let me go to Mayberry. 'Cause something about Mayberry seems like heaven to me.
My hometown is the greatest place I know, where the neighbors I find are gentle and kind, and the living easy and slow. My hometown is the only place to be. Here the worries are small and the kids grow tall and strong and healthy and free. It's my hometown, my hometown, Mayberry, Mayberry.
Good night, folks.